Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for joining me today. We are getting ready for the press conference on Quinton Simon. Have they made an arrest yet? We're about to find out because there was a lot of activity at their home last night. And they're supposed to have a press conference. I did see somewhere, was it pushed back to 1:30 their time, 12:30 my time. So we're going to just do a recap for the most part. If you're new to the channel or you're new to the case, you've probably heard a lot of Quinton Simon going on. Where is he? He is missing. Well, now we come to find out that maybe he's in a landfill dead, deceased. Those are the heartbreaking things. And now we wait to see, is that what they're going to be announcing? So I wonder if, wait, I didn't get that set up, did I? Shut that up. How do I do that? So I wonder if there has been an arrest made, because truth is they do know some stuff. But is it enough to arrest her? And that's what we're hoping to hear something, because Leilani knows something. And we want justice for this little one. We have to get justice for this little one. Let's get this here. Let's make sure we have that set up. Sorry, I should have had this done, but since we have a little bit of time, let's see. There we go. Spud says they can't arrest her yet without the body. They haven't got proof enough to hold her. Won't be too long. I agree. That is a very good point. But we don't really know what they have yet. That's the thing. They may have enough, because grandma, her mother, says that Leilani did something and he's in a landfill. That's exactly what Billy Joe Howell said. That's grandma, that's mom to Leilani. But that is really about as much as we know. Let me make sure that nothing has started yet. I'm checking their platforms, but it does not look like anything's actually started yet. Let's see. And so as we're figuring more of this out, everyone, I mean, there are so many people getting behind little Quinton Simon. And it was said that she was going to, on her way to the interview, the detective interview. We don't know if she was arrested last night. We don't know what she actually said. We haven't seen any charging documents. We haven't seen anything. Again, they cannot tip their hand too soon, because that's when the investigation gets messed up. And so the Chatham County Police Department, they did tweet last night, October 12th, that they believe the toddler is deceased. We pray, but by all accounts, it has been said that family members have confirmed that Leilani Simon did something, because the police themselves say Leilani is our prime suspect. And that's why we want to find out even right now. Did you find little Quinton? Do we have some updates? And I wanted to really start this as close to 1 so that we can focus on the press conference, but they don't seem to have anything up yet. And so we'll wait to see. Maybe it was pushed back to 1:30 their time. And so we will share that whatever we find on here. But this is where, like, this news comes after about Leilani being the prime suspect comes after that little short video I shared with you, where she was leaving her home in a white pickup truck for the first time since Quinton's disappearance. This was the first time anyone had seen her. So everyone's like, where is Quinton? Where is Quinton? Of course, she's hiding her face. Like, why are you hiding your face? If you did nothing wrong, why are you hiding your face? Is that not what suspects do? When there's cameras around, isn't that what suspects do? They cover their face. They don't want to be seen. They're like, oh, they cover themselves. They have folders in front of them. Did she not just share like her sign of guilt right there? Look, like, don't look at me. Don't look at me. I am guilty. I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. Jeez, I'm sorry. I'm getting carried away there because I'm so angry about this thing. My apologies. My apologies on that. But I don't know who I'm apologizing, but I'm definitely apologizing to you guys. I'm really not feeling good about her. And police have said up till now, no charges have been filed and no arrests have been made. And so the press conference hopefully will start soon. It's supposed to start around 1. Let me just do a quick update check wise. Let's just open up as many as we can. Let's see if anything's on there. That is not live, so that's not yet. Let's see if there's anything there. Nope. So as we really continue to try to figure out what happened to poor little Quinton, why did this happen to little Quinton? And so the official tweet from Chatham County Police Department was that they would have a presser at 1. And so that 1 o'clock their time, that is 12 o'clock my time. And so that's why we got started a little earlier. I'm obviously going to have to maybe take clips of this and add it up there. Let's see if there's anything out. Nothing out yet. I just don't want to miss this at even from the very beginning, because we need to figure it out. We need to know what happened. We cannot just have little babies walking off and disappearing. Babies don't disappear on their own. Not on their own, they don't disappear. And then her dispatch 911 was that she wakes up and the baby's gone, the door's open or something like that. And that the baby couldn't leave on her own. The baby doesn't know how to open up the door. Obviously not. And so that's what makes her a little suspect on that. I'm sure they're going to be using that as evidence in this. Again, she's not, up till we find out what this conference is about, this press conference is about, she's not been arrested at all. She's not been arrested. And with that, you can see here, they said they would be having a 1 p.m. brief presser with the credential media, people who had these. I'm not credential media, so obviously I'm just going to be looking from afar, sharing with you. But it says right here, we know that thousands of people around the world will be heartbroken by this news, and we share your sorrow. What news is that? Well, it's the news of the baby is deceased. Because they said it right there. But from this moment here, it says we'll hold a media briefing tomorrow to give more details and answers. We will not be making any further statements or answering any questions until that time. But they did say in that next tweet, you can only do so many characters, we know that thousands of people around the world will be heartbroken. And that's a high number of thousands, not 1,000 or 2,000. A very high number This little 20-month-old did not deserve this at all. And we we deserve to get some, we need to help little Quentin get some answers. We are his voice now. This is why I did not, when I came into this true crime, I did not come into it with the intention of covering missing kids. My heart struggles when it comes to kids. The it's just I it's one of the most heartbreaking things. They're the most innocent people in the world, really. They haven't really been on this world enough. They haven't aged enough. And when someone else is responsible for them disappearing, becoming deceased, that's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. And so we know that she's a prime suspect, and now we wait to see if there's more information there. What is this here? Huh. Well, one thing I did come across. Well, no, that's not true. I did share that about draining and what they found. But this is a good reason not to come on too early until this thing starts, because I don't want to have to repeat a bunch of things either. And we're not here for me, so we want to we want to know what happened to little Quentin. We want to know, why has this happened to little Quentin? This should not happen to little Quentin at all. And now we want to know, Leilani, what happened to little Quentin? Leilani, her, I don't know what's going on in that family. There is some serious baggage drama surrounding that family. And I wonder why. Well, there's some stuff that's tied to this family that has to do with like a previous murder in that area, that might have to do with that family or something, or someone tied to that family. I haven't dug into it deep enough, but there's been a number of articles that have, or a number of videos that have popped up talking about a murder that was tied to him. And there's my point is that there is stuff tied to him. Now, we did find out that grandma has a lot of history as well, with a number of arrests. And I wonder what that's about. Let's see if we can. All right, looks like something might be coming on. Hold on, let's go find it. Let's see. I am looking for best place to see that. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Nothing there. I'm not getting updates. What's going on here? Not getting anything yet on this press conference. see. I would think Chatham County would have it on their page. Maybe I already did it. Gee, Manelli. Okay, hold on. It was that fast. Okay, so we'll listen to it together for the first time. Yeah, that's my learning curve, right?
Clark of the Savannah FBI office. As you know, our investigation over the last 8 days has led us to the heartbreaking conclusion that 20-month-old Quinton Simon is deceased. We have named his mother, Leilani Simon, as the primary suspect in Quinton's disappearance and death. We have not made an arrest or filed any charges at this time. From the moment we received the 911 call reporting Quinton missing, we have conducted an exhaustive search for him. Sadly, we still have not found Quinton. But our search and our
It must be playing in the background somewhere. So I had it up. It must be playing in the background. See, oh wait. Here's my learning curve card, right, people? You guys see me messing up together. But that's all right. There we go.
Our investigation will continue, and it will continue with every available resource we have in order to give Quinton's family closure and see that justice is served in this case. I would like to thank the FBI for their invaluable expertise and assistance during our search and for the help they will continue to provide moving forward. We know that millions of people fell in love with Quinton Simon the moment they saw his face and learned of his disappearance. We have seen the outpouring of love and concern for this child and the outpouring of grief at the latest developments in this case. The men and women of the Chatham County Police Department share that same sadness, but we also feel very determined to keep working as hard as we can and for as long as we have to find Quinton. Now Special Agent Clark will have some comments, and then I'll return with some closing statements.
Good afternoon. My name is Will Clark. I am the Senior Supervisory Resident Agent in charge of the FBI's Savannah and Brunswick offices. From the moment the FBI became involved in this investigation, our primary goal was to assist the Chatham County Police Department in bringing Quinton home and holding anyone responsible for his disappearance accountable. To the Chatham County community, our heart breaks along with yours in trying to comprehend what we believe happened here. The FBI, along with our law enforcement partners, have followed every lead, every tip, and every piece of evidence to get to this point, and we will continue to do so. The FBI entered this case less than 3 hours after Quinton was reported missing. The FBI has provided the Chatham County Police Department resources in this case, and those resources have come in the form of investigative, analytical, and technical assistance. For the past week, over 40 FBI agents, analysts, task force officers, and professional sports staff who live in the coastal Georgia area have worked tirelessly and continuously on this investigation. Last Wednesday, we mobilized our Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team, the CARD team in short, which brings with it experts from across the country who specialize in missing children cases. As needed, and as the investigation continues to progress, the FBI stands ready to deploy additional resources. In closing, we share the sorrow felt by millions and pledge every resource to assist the Chatham County Police Department in finding little Quinton.
Thank you, Agent Clark. And in closing, I understand the intense interest in this case and know everyone has a lot of questions. I'll answer what I can. But remember, our focus must be on not doing anything that jeopardizes the integrity of this investigation or bringing justice for Quinton. So with that said, I'll be happy to answer what questions I can.
Chief, we heard from the family last night that you might be targeting a landfill. Can you tell us about that and what landfill it might be?
I cannot disclose any information relative to that. We will follow the evidence, and when our evidence leads us to search anything specifically or any specific geographic area, we will communicate that to you at that time.
Chief, I'm confused on why there was a tweet yesterday that said they believe that Quinton is likely deceased, and then they're saying the investigation continues. What is that piece of evidence, or what makes you believe that?
I cannot get into any specifics relative to evidence. What I can say is the evidence that we have so far, based on multiple search warrants and interviews, has led us to the conclusion that Quinton is deceased. The investigation doesn't end, right there. We will continue to investigate this until its final conclusion.
With no charges brought in the case, what made you think it was necessary to identify as another suspect?
Because the evidence has led us to that point and to this point today.
Why has she not been arrested yet?
Because we will only do that when we feel we have everything that we need to. We only get one shot at this, right? We're going to do it right. We're going to do the best that we can. We're going to use the resources at our disposal. We're thankful to the FBI, and when we get to that point and we feel comfortable in counsel with the FBI and the ADA, that's when we will reach that conclusion.
Chief, is anyone else being considered for criminal charges?
At this time, no.
What changed to make you suspect foul play?
The evidence in the case has led us to this conclusion.
Was there a date where you found the evidence that led you to this conclusion? Because obviously earlier this week and last week you had said you did not suspect.
The accumulation of evidence over these last 8 days has led us to this conclusion today.
Do you have an idea where Quinton might be?
We do not have any specifics at this time. I can't answer that question with any level of specificity.
Do you know where Leilani's other two children are?
I can't answer that question.
Do you know where Leilani is?
I don't know where she is currently today.
Is there any chance anyone else besides Leilani could be charged?
There is no one else a suspect at this time. Leilani is the main focus of this investigation.
Are you not concerned that you've now named your number one suspect out loud to the public? Is there not a concern she might take off?
I can't get into any specifics, but we don't believe she's a flight risk at this time. All right, thank you. Appreciate your questions. Have a great day.
And no developments on an arrest. No developments on an arrest. One thing that did catch my attention was the evidence led to the conclusion. Granted, I see where the reporter was coming from when he's saying what information was gathered, like what day specific did they get this evidence basically. And of course, when they're doing the press conference, they're going to try to give you something without giving you much, because they cannot give you much. And so, of course, he's going to say the evidence over 8 days, which is basically when this all began, is what led them to this. And so, granted, I was hoping for a development. It does not sound like they even know where she's at. But again, I'm sure they're probably keeping an eye on her. I don't think they're just going to let her, I don't know how they can approach this through the whole thing. Like, I don't know, what can they do in reference to this? Because they cannot, unless they arrest her, they can't do anything to her, right? They can't charge her until they get enough evidence, but they did say they got evidence that he is deceased, and that he's basically not alive. And the thing about that, though, is someone knows something. Danny, I feel like, has to know something. Like, he's the one that texts the babysitter that morning. And so I would think that he knows something in this. And that's where, the chief is saying we can't talk about the evidence, obviously, but the evidence has led us to believe Quinton has died. And that is heartbreaking in and of its own, because that's the one thing we were hoping, like, we weren't feeling very positive about it, but we felt like hopefully justice comes and we find this little baby alive. And right now it does not look like that. But in the press conference, he also says Leilani is the only suspect in the death of her son. And when asked if anyone else would be filing any charge, like if anyone else could be facing any charges, he says no, not at this time. And which also tells me that they're not looking at the grandma. I didn't think she had anything to do with this, but child neglect charges or something like that, because she herself said she didn't really trust her. She didn't know if she could trust her, but she left the kids in her care. And so, according to the law enforcement, they don't feel like Leilani is a flight risk. And so, that is interesting. But they're probably putting this off as long as they can before they arrest her, trying to find a body, because it is much harder to get a conviction if you don't have a body. And that's what someone made a comment on the channel in reference to, like, they won't arrest her because they don't have anything on her. They don't have the body. Well, there have been convictions without a body, but it's a lot easier if you have the body and you can do an autopsy and you can do DNA testing and you can do all the things around there to help. But, you got to ask yourself, when will she be arrested now? Because basically that's the only thing that remains. When will Leilani face this? Because she says she doesn't remember. She doesn't remember what happened or how he ended up in the landfill. Come on. How do you even know he's in a landfill if you don't remember how he got there? That part doesn't make sense. Literally, that doesn't make sense. And so, like, how are you going to explain your way out of that one? You can't. That's the whole thing about this. You cannot explain your way out of this stuff. But Leilani is prime suspect. Quinton Simon believed to be dead, according to the police. And with all of that as well, you have to ask yourself, could this have been prevented? She wasn't even supposed to have him, right? She did not have prime custody of the baby. So then you have to say, well, then why did this happen? Literally, why did this happen if she did not have custody of this little boy? Well, she was leaving them with her while she went away on work, I believe. Maybe that could very well be the reason. But what about the grandpa? He couldn't be left with grandpa or something? I don't know. Could it be, honestly, your opinion, could it be over this child support stuff? No way, right? No way. Cannot be over this child support stuff. What do you think about that? Do you think it would have anything to do with child support? Because Leilani knows something. Oops, I didn't turn that off. Leilani knows something. That is as obvious as it gets. But what does she know? What do we not know yet? Because this little boy, now we got to get justice for him. Now we got to get justice for him. That's the key there. It's like, for example, step up, speak out to end child abuse. This boy was obviously abused because Diana said she sent a picture to grandma about bruises on his neck. So she's trying to like share. She's trying to share. She's trying to say, look, something doesn't seem right. And that's where it's like, what happened? Leilani, what happened? And when Leilani Simon, it looks like she works with a clothing shop named Hollister Company. This was according to her Facebook profile. And her Facebook bio reads, Mom to Zane, January 23rd, 2019, and little Bubba Moss. Let's see if I can bring this up here. If it's still up there. And, it's like, okay, like, why? Like, I don't understand. So one of my thought process here, it doesn't make it okay by any means, but she's 22 years old. 22 years old. As a dad at 16 years old, I don't know how old she was in her first one. I'd have to do the math. Her first child was in 2019. And her second child, 2021, which she looks to refer to him as Moss. Let me bring this up here. Keep forgetting these things. So Moss must be the little boy's name. And let's see. Can you see that? Yeah. So you can see a picture on May 11, 2022, where Billy Joe Howell, this is a year ago, I believe Billy Joe definitely loved this little child, loved both her grandchildren. And like, it's like, why did she do this? This is heartbreaking. Like, this is heartbreaking. I have to stay focused on what my goal is here to share this message instead of getting emotional about it, because this is rough. And so this is her Facebook profile, and it shows that it says works at Hollister, went to New Hampstead High in Georgia, and she's 22 years old. She's a mother of Zane, who's 3 years old now, and Quinton, may he rest in peace, who was 20 months old. And Quinton, he was reported missing on the morning of October 5th, 2022. And that's when she says he went missing from their Chatham County home in Georgia. And that just doesn't even, that part is like, what do you mean? And on the day she was reported missing, Jeff Hadley, the county police chief, Jeff Hadley, he said Quinton's mother's boyfriend reported seeing him when he woke up at 6 a.m. on October 5th, 2022. And Chief Hadley added that the mother woke up at some other time later and reported the child missing at 9:39. And the boy's biological father was not near him during this time of his disappearance. He not said to be of any type of suspect in this. And you can look at her profile and see, like, can't really probably tell much, But I don't understand why you did this. Why'd you do this? And you can see, obviously, she's going to have a lot of negative comments on her profile. I should have put it on the other side, huh? And so, And Chief Hadley, he says the child's mother and her boyfriend have been working with detectives at that time. I wonder if they're still working with the detectives now. Because little boy needs he needs to be found. He needs some type of justice. Literally needs justice. And the only justice we can possibly get is with finding justice through putting this lady in her place. Because when she gets behind bars, she will suffer even more. They don't take kind to hurting children in prison. No, even prisoners don't take kind to other prisoners who abuse children. And through that, she's going to find her little bit of justice, a little extra justice for this poor little boy. And so, why did this have to happen to Quinton Simon? We don't know. We literally don't know at all. And this is probably one of the reasons that this post might have been having because this post I don't think is out there as much. They asked about this. This message that went out a lot yesterday, where Billy Joe is having a conversation with Darkness Exposed. Check out our channel. I highly recommend it. And Billy Joe says Quinton has passed. He's in a landfill and my daughter done it. She has no memory of it. Was she on meth or something? Because she's there. It's said that she was highly into drugs. I don't know what happens under that stuff, but maybe you can black out. I don't know. But Darkness Exposed had a conversation with Grandma Billy Joe Howell, and this is what was shared in that. And with that, it's like, why did she do this? Why did she do this? My guess is, if I had to take a guess, she lost it. And I think right now she's preparing her future defense, is my guess. She's preparing her future defense. Because, and this is where Billy Joe's going to be tested. There's going to be an arrest eventually here. There will be an arrest. I'm pretty sure there's going to be an arrest. What role will Billy Joe play? She was clearly angry and she wanted her child. She referred to him as like, I don't remember the argument, but she had the argument and she referred to the baby like almost like my baby. And with that, it's like, excuse me. With that, it's like, now we want to know, why did this happen? Why did this happen? You probably want to know that too. Why did this happen? This didn't need to happen. And truth is, this happens more than it should. This is why I had to find my voice when it comes to the children. Because it's so easy for us to forget how much they do get hurt. And those who are not to this point, there is a long-term battle mentally. I'm speaking from experience because my childhood has affected some of, maybe the way I get emotional about things. Or if it's too quiet, I was like, get some music on, get the TV on or something, right? I cannot do quietness too well. That definitely is an effect from my childhood. When I went to college, and I would be having a study. You can't really study with TV on if you want to get the most out of it. But I had to have the TV on. That was me. And this is why I was like, I got to find my voice. For these kids, this is not about me. And that's exactly why I took it a step further. If I'm gonna do it, I might as well do it, because my whole channel is to have a voice for the victims, let you know what could go so wrong out there that we need to be a little more careful for. That's why this live is dragging on a little longer than I normally do, because we need to talk about this stuff. If this is the type of content you do like to follow, please hit that subscribe button, because at the end of the day, we want to come together and help one another. Be alert for one another, especially these children. Here's the truth. Little Quinton, that was our future. He was part of our future. He did not even get a chance to have a future. And if you're a mom or a dad and you feel you've ever had this thought of doing something like this, please acknowledge that thought, acknowledge that feeling, and talk to someone, or talk to God, talk to whoever, whatever can make you prevent that. Because, my friends, this should never, ever happen. And we know that Quinton Simon is deceased. They have enough evidence. We know that Leilani Simon is the prime suspect in his disappearance and death. And here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. This is the truth. The fact that they said prime suspect in his disappearance and death, that tells me they're very close. I think they're trying to find the body, because that would make it so much easier for them to get a conviction in the court of law. So that's why I say it's just a matter of time before they arrest this woman. She needs to be arrested. And so, with that also being said, I think that they're trying to arrange a search the landfill. So, truth is, if the baby's out in the landfill, we'll probably need to get a lot of people in there looking for this baby. Because every day that more stuff is put into the landfill, something, I don't know. There's got to be pictures. There's got to be something out there. And so, if you think about it, can we still find this baby? Just to give him a proper burial? I mean, if she truly, because Grandma said, I mean, we got that text between darkness exposed and the Billy Joe in the landfill. My daughter did it. We have that text. And so if you think about that on its own, that is okay, you already admit that she's the prime suspect. She said, her mom says this. Who did she confess to? Did she confess to the police about this? Did she only tell her mom? Because the cops can't say anything. The detectives, as you can hear in the press conference, they're asking even about this message. And we can't say, they can't talk. They can't talk about it at all. But somewhere along the line, she has confessed to somebody. She basically admitted to doing this to her child, to somebody. The police say she's the primary suspect in his death. How is she not arrested or charged? My guess is they're looking for a body. They're trying to find this baby the day, eventually I think she will get arrested anyway. I truly think eventually if they don't find Quinton, she will be arrested. But then it's going to be harder to prove in court, but they're probably still going to do it. And so that is a key thing. Like, okay, like I don't understand. Like, if they're patting each other on the back, FBI is doing a great job, Chatham County Police Department is doing a great job, this person's doing a great job, then why isn't there more information? I get that, why there's not going to be more information to us. But until she's arrested, we don't think you have much. But again, you're building your case. I get that. I get that you're building your case. And if you had any type of confession directly from her, is that enough to arrest her? Is that enough to arrest her right there if she confessed to the law enforcement people? That's interesting on its own, because she must have only admitted to it to her mom if she's not arrested. I don't know. I like playing detective, which is another reason why I started this channel, but I'm not a detective. I didn't go to school for all that stuff. You know, hindsight's 2020. I should have went into school for criminology, right? I love studying this stuff now. But when is law enforcement gonna arrest her? Because here we have another beautiful, innocent child that we, the people, have failed. We got the police have shared heartbreaking conclusion to this missing child, but they still haven't arrested her. Like, I don't understand that. Right? I don't understand that. They say evidence points to the mother. Okay, like they must be waiting. They must be waiting to find the body. They believe that the baby's gone, but they must be waiting. Because Chief Hadley says, but our search and investigation will continue, and it will continue with every available resource we have in order to give Quinton's family closure and see the justice is served in this case. And that was really about it. There wasn't much more to that, right? Because he said there's not any additional information that they were going to share. And so, like, I don't understand that. She tells the 911 dispatcher she found the door open, although Quinton isn't able to open the door. She thinks someone came in and took him. That's what the dispatcher tells the officers when they call it in. The 911 call has not been released. Why? Evidence reasons. And so, they have something. They have something. Because Billy Joe tells ABC 22 she hasn't always done the right thing. No, she really hasn't, obviously. And now she's done the unthinkable. Did she not do the unthinkable here? She did the unthinkable. Leilani, you did the unthinkable if you're watching this video. Why? At least bring some justice to this. Bring some closure And so, because her mom even says this about Leilani. Sometimes she does really great. Sometimes she doesn't. I don't know what to think right now. I don't know what to believe because I don't think anybody ever believes this is going to happen to them. I don't know if I can trust her or I don't. And here's the thing. Darkness Exposed later has this conversation. This is when Darkness Exposed has this conversation with Billy Joe. This was after Billy Joe makes this comment. And then the babysitter truly speaks out. And she does that video. I shared it in this morning's video. I'm not going to share it again. But she does that video and she says that the police were on their way to arrest her. I'm guessing it never happened. Maybe that's why she took the video down. Because she did a live because a lot of people, including myself, I reached out to her. She didn't reply. And she ends up doing a video later saying that a lot of people were asking her questions. And so she did the live. You can find it on my video right before this. I'm not going to give you another 4 minutes of that, just out of respect for those who are following this case on my channel. And so the truth is that the babysitter speaks out big time. She was supposed to babysit on October 5th. But the family contacted her and told her that she wasn't needed for the day. That right there is a big red flag. Big red flag right there. Because mom says she didn't see the baby until the night before. That was the last time she saw him. Danny says he wakes up and sees the baby there. But still nothing. No one's arrested for this yet. I mean, think about that part. They got evidence, but they don't have the baby. Now, my guess is this happened on Wednesday. Today is 8 days later, 9 days later. Today's like the 9th day. So let's say that Wednesday or Tuesday night, she put him, did whatever, and the baby ends up in the landfill. You're talking 9 days later. Now, we only found out about the Darkness Exposed message with Billy Joe last night. The police were probably already onto some things, but Billy Joe's probably angry, and that's why she probably shared that with Darkness Exposed at that very moment. You have that moment sometimes you might, just like Diana did, she got on, she had that emotional moment. I've had this so many times, I'm embarrassed about it. You get on, you have that emotional moment, you get on. She was bawling on her live. She was so hurt because that's when she found out that it definitely looks like Quinton was deceased. And then we get all the confirmation, Quinton is deceased. But unfortunately, she is still not arrested. My friends, my point being here and why I'm still on this thing is we have to be alert. We have to be a little more protective around those behind us. I'm thinking about doing this next case, another case about a child who froze to death because the dad was irresponsible. The worst part is CBS, Child Bureau Welfare. I don't know. Different places probably called different, but Child Protective Services were called numerous times. And nothing was done. So now that child is also deceased. Again, the most important people, I'm going to dig deeper, but in first readings of this case, the most important people did not protect. I can tell you this, I'm from New York City, born and raised. When Child protective services were called multiple times on my mother. Guess what? We were taken and put under the foster care system. So if you don't do anything, or I don't know, so many calls, I don't know. So that's my point. Please step up, speak out to end child abuse. These children are being hurt. Should not happen. Should not happen. My friends, I ask you, be alert, be careful, look around, check your surroundings, because we want to be a little more safer for people. We want others to be safer. This child taken way too soon. Rest in peace, Quinton Simon. Thank you for joining me today, my friends. I look forward to serving you again. Let's give a voice to these victims. Pray for them. Pray that we get some justice. And on my channel, there will be a playlist for Quinton Simon. As I continue to cover it, it'll be right there so that whenever you're getting caught up with the story, you can follow it from the early days to the later days. Because there's a lot more to come around for Quinton Simon. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day. Love you guys. Peace.